don't go near. But these young fellows, they are hungry and they are greedy. It's like a greedy pup. They will go near, and when they see the fruit, they cannot resist. Saliva coming down already. So they go there and they grab. But this fruit probably is sticking to the pitch, like glue. So once he grabs, the hand gets caught there. He gets caught there. Thinking, I will free my hand. He seizes it with his other hand. He gets caught there too. Thinking, I will free both hands. He seizes it with his foot. He gets caught there. Thinking, I will free both hands and my foot. He seizes it with his other foot. He gets caught there. Thinking, I will free both hands and feet. He applies his muzzle or mouth to it. He gets caught there too. Thus monks, that monkey, trapped at 5 points, lies there screeching. He has met with calamity and disaster, and the hunter can do with him as he wishes. The hunter spears him, fastens him to that same block of wood, and goes off where he wants. So it is, monks, when one strays outside one's own resort into the domain of others. Therefore, monks, do not stray outside your own resort into the domain of others. Mara will gain access to those who stray outside their own resort into the domain of others. Mara will get a hold on them. And what is not a monk's own resort but the domain of others? It is the 5 chords of substantial pleasure, namely sight, sounds, smells, taste, and touch, which are enticing. This is what is not a monk's own resort, but the domain of others. Move in your own resort, monks, in your own ancestral domain. Mara will not gain access to those who move in their own resort, in their own ancestral domain. Mara will not get a hold on them. And what is a monk's resort? His own ancestral domain. It is the 4 intense states of recollection. What for? Here, monks, a monk dwells contemplating the body in the body, feelings in feelings, mind in mind, Dhamma in Dhamma, ardent, clearly aware, recollected, having removed covetousness and grief in regard to the world. This is a monk's resort, his own ancestral domain. So here, this another beautiful simile. And here it says this monkey, this greedy monkey, is caught at 5 points. The 2 hands, the 2 feet, and the mouth. Right? And these 5 points symbolizes the 5 areas when Mara can catch us: sights, sounds, smells, taste, and touch. So that's why it is dangerous to go out into the world. And when you want to enjoy worldly pleasures, you get caught. So you stay in Vihara, is much safer. The next sutta is also a very, very good and important sutta, 47.8. Monks, suppose a foolish, incompetent, unskillful cook were to present a king or a royal minister with various kinds of curries: sour, bitter, pungent, sweet, sharp, mild, salty, bland. That foolish, incompetent, unskillful cook does not pick up the sign of his own master's preference. For example, today this curry pleased my master, or he reached for this one, or he took a lot of this one, or he spoke in praise of this one, or the sour curry pleased my master today, or he reached out for the sour one, or he took a lot of the sour one, or he spoke in praise of the sour one. Similarly, of the bitter curry, or the pungent curry, or the sweet curry, or the sharp curry, or the mild curry, or the salty curry, or the bland curry pleased my master, or he spoke in praise of it. That foolish, incompetent, unskillful cook does not gain gifts of clothing, wages, and bonuses. For what reason? Because that foolish, incompetent, unskillful cook does not pick up the sign of his own master's preference. So too, monks, here some foolish, incompetent, unskillful monk dwells contemplating the body in the body, ardent, clearly mindful, recollected, having removed covetousness and grief in regard to the world. While he dwells contemplating the body in the body, his mind does not become concentrated. His corruptions are not abandoned. He does not pick up that sign. Similarly, he dwells feelings in feelings, mind in mind, Dhamma in Dhamma. While he dwells contemplating these four objects of Satipatthana, his mind does not become concentrated. His corruptions are not abandoned. He does not pick up that sign. The foolish, incompetent, unskillful monk does not gain pleasant dwellings in this very life, nor does he gain recollection and mindfulness. For what reason? Because monks, that foolish, incompetent, unskillful monk does not pick up the sign of his own mind. I'll finish the sutta first before we explain. Suppose monks, a wise, competent, skillful cook, were to present a king or a royal minister with various kinds of curries, sour, bitter, pungent, sweet, sharp, mild, salty, bland. That wise, competent, skillful cook picks up the sign of his own master's preference. For example, today this curry pleased my master, or he spoke in praise of that one. That wise, competent, skillful cook gains gifts of clothing, wages and bonuses. For what reason? Because that wise, competent, skillful cook picks up the sign of his own master's preference. So too monks, here some wise, competent, skillful monk dwells contemplating the body in the body, feelings in feelings, mind in mind, Dhamma in Dhamma. While he dwells contemplating, his mind becomes concentrated, his corruptions are abandoned. He picks up that sign. That wise, competent, skillful monk gains pleasant dwellings in this very life, and he gains recollection and clear awareness. For what reason? Because monks, that wise, competent, skillful monk picks up the sign of his own mind. This is an interesting sutta. The Buddha gives this simile about the cook who cooks for the king, and the foolish cook does not notice, does not pay attention to what the master likes to eat. So because he does not pay attention, he does not serve the master with exactly the type of food that the master likes. So the master is not happy with him, so he does not get bonus and all that. Whereas the wise cook, he will notice exactly what the master prefers and cooks exactly what the master prefers. And then he gets the bonus and all that. So the Buddha says, in the same way, a monk, when he practices the four Satipatthanas, he does not, his mind does not become concentrated. His corruptions are not abandoned. Corruptions refers to his 5 hindrances, his kilesas. His 5 hindrances are not abandoned. And then this monk, he does not notice, does not pay attention why the mind does not become concentrated. So because of that, this foolish monk, this unskillful monk, does not gain pleasant dwellings in this very life. Pleasant dwellings means, normally in the suttas, it means if a monk attains the jhanas, then he's usually dwelling very happily, blissed out every day. Nor does he gain sati sampajanya. So, in other words, if one practices satipatthana and the mind does not become concentrated and attain the jhanas, that means he is not skillful. That monk is not skillful, and he does not attain sati sampajanya. That means he is not really practicing sati sampajanya. He only thinks that he's practicing sati sampajanya. And then on the other hand, the skillful monk, he practices in the right way, and the mind becomes concentrated. His 5 hindrances are abandoned, and he pays attention to that sign. What is that sign? The sign is what are the things the mind prefers. Just like the master has a certain preference or certain taste. So similarly, when we meditate, we have to see the conditions that make our mind calm down. In other words, you have to notice your object of meditation that is suitable for you. Some people, they meditate certain objects, they just cannot calm down. For example, a lot of people in practice anapanasati, the mind cannot calm down because it's a very fine object, too fine. Whereas if you do simple chanting, then the mind can stay with the chanting. That's why the first meditation the Buddha taught is actually chanting on the 32 parts of the body. So here it says that the skillful monk, his mind becomes concentrated and the 5 hindrances are abandoned. He gains sati sampajanya. That means he attains sati sampajanya, recollection and mindfulness. And why? Because he notices the sign of his own mind. He notices the preference of the mind. So it is not only has to do with the object of meditation. You have to see other conditions. Maybe a certain place is too noisy. You go and practice in a meditation center that's in the heart of town, next to a market and all that, with a lot of noise. How can your mind calm down? The vibes also no good. Whereas you go to a quiet place like VBG, and vibrations are good, and air is very clear, the water is from the hills, then the conditions are good, then your mind can more easily come down. So the environment is another thing, object of meditation is another thing, and then the time of your meditation also. If you come back from office and your mind is all disturbed, you try to meditate, that's not a good time. A very good time, I suggest to people, is early in the morning, just after you wake up. Just after you wake up, your body is not so tired, although your mind is still sleepy. So that is a good time to meditate early in the morning. So you have to. So in this practice of the 4 Satipatthana, we have to be very observant, like the cook. The cook has to notice what the master likes. So in the same way, we have to notice what our mind likes, what our mind inclines to. So you have to notice all these conditions. And one day, if you have a good meditation, you have to ask yourself, why? Why today the meditation is so good? Then you have start considering. Maybe because today I didn't flare up, didn't lose my temper. All that. So all these things you have to. These are very practical instructions where we can use. That's why a lot of people don't understand. They think that the suttas are just dry stuff, just theory only. There's a lot of practical instructions in the suttas. If only you take the trouble to go and see. You can't get these instructions from any meditation teacher, because the best meditation teacher is our Buddha. All his instructions are very clear here already. Why you go and look for some present day monks? They can never come near the Buddha standard. So for the suttas, we'll finish for tonight. Anything to discuss?
Some mention about mindfulness on the body, how do we concentrate while sleeping on the body?
This Buddha's disciples, if they want to practice for liberation, they have to try to maintain their mindfulness 24 hours a day. So even though they lie down to rest, to sleep, actually they try not to sleep. They try to maintain their mindfulness. So for example, like the first meditation, the Buddha taught 32 parts of the body. So the monk chants are head, hair, body hair, nails, teeth, skin, flesh, sinew, bone, marrow,